Hey guys, it's Kim. So like I said in my first video, I wanted to make a separate video discussing how I view the divine source, the creator, whole source, that I think in many traditions is called just plain God. Uh, and this topic, I think, is really important in learning about my spirituality. At least it was for me to determine how I viewed these things, because it's such, if not, it's such an important, if not the most important part of my spirituality. Viewing this divine, the source that is in everything, and I view it as an energy. So I'm going to call it an energy from here on out. The energy that's in us all. This, what created us all, what connects us all. It's in everything and anything. In many traditions, Christianity, it's called God. Judaism, I believe it's called Yahweh. Islam, it's Allah. Lots of different things, and all really interesting. But when I started researching paganism, I realized that there were a lot of different ways that people viewed God, this energy. And so I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what it meant to me and how I was going to grasp it. And so it took me a while, but after a few years, I came up with sort of a model of how I view it, and it is a pyramid. And I'll explain the pyramid in its different parts. So at the top of the pyramid is this energy, this massive, complete, just omniscient, omnipresent energy that I call totem. And I've heard it called the divine, I've heard it called source, I've heard it called the one, the all, many different things. And the reason that I call it totem is that I realized when I left Christianity that the term God was too small for what I was thinking. And God is on the pyramid in a lower spot, in a smaller spot. So I'll get to that in a minute. So I didn't want to use the term God, but I wanted a term that was charged with power and magic and meaning to me. I didn't want to call it something like, oh, the whole, the all. I wanted a name, a sacred name. So what I did was I looked up a lot of different words in different languages that meant things along the same line. And I do not claim to know if this is grammatically accurate. It said that it was, but totem, from what I understand, means the whole or the all in Latin. And like I said, I am not familiar with the Latin language, so I take no responsibility for knowing if this is actually correct. But as soon as I found this word, I said it, totem. And it's U-M, so it's not spelled like a totem animal, totem. And as soon as I said it, it just this wave of like, yes, okay, like this is my sacred name for this energy, for this creative source. And so I've stuck with totem ever since, and it is my holy name, my sacred name for this energy. However, totem, in my opinion, is massive. It's everything. And so this is where I started connecting with most pagan ideology of different gods and goddesses. So basically, in my belief system, totem is the top of the pyramid. And totem, from that, can be divided into god and goddess, which for me represent masculine and feminine energy. And I know that that can be a little restrictive, because I don't believe that anything is necessarily inherently masculine or inherently feminine, even down to gender. There are many gender-fluid, gender-queer people. And I think lots of things can have, almost everything, I think, can have both masculine and feminine energy. But it represents the archetypes, in my opinion, of masculine and feminine energy. So that's God and goddess for me. And sometimes I will call upon both or one of this general God-goddess energy to work with me in a specific sense if I am doing something that I feel like I want that massive, because I believe that those are very massive as well, powers with the energy that I believe fits it behind it. And from God and goddess, which are the middle part of the pyramid, in my belief system, again, I keep reiterating this because I don't want to say that I think that this is the ultimate truth or anything like that. Like I said in my first video, I'm not here to preach, I'm just here to share. And I don't want anyone to feel like I'm saying that, you know, this is what's right, because I think lots of things are right, and this is just what's right for me. So, from God and Goddess energy, there are an infinite amount of facets of this energy that I believe are manifested in specific gods and goddesses. So in that way, I believe that I would be considered a soft polytheist. And I just want to make a little disclaimer here, because I've had conversations with people before where they got offended by that view of it. What is considered hard polytheism, from what I have gathered, is that each of these, sorry, I just want to, this is balancing on a blanket and I don't want it to fall. Okay. That hard polytheists view each deity, let's say in a polytheistic pantheon, so let's say the Greek pantheon, view each deity as very much separate entities, not at all part of the same energy. They are completely separate, and I just want to make a disclaimer that if that is what anyone watching believes, I think that's fantastic, and I'm so happy that you have something that works for you. And I'm not trying to diminish or demean your belief in that. This is just what works for me, so I'm sorry that I have to keep moving this. I hope this isn't messing up the video too much. I can see it sliding. I'm recording this on my laptop, and I'm afraid that all of a sudden it's gonna tip over. So I'm sorry, back to what I was saying. I don't want to demean or diminish anyone's beliefs in that. Like I said, if that's what you believe, I think that's fantastic. This is what resonates most with me. And I respect anyone's differing opinion on this, because I know it can be a little bit controversial within polytheistic religions. But like I said, I think that they are all facets of one energy. I am a cross-tradition polytheist in that way. I don't subscribe to the deities of only one tradition. Like, I know there are traditions that only work with Celtic or Norse or Egyptian deities. I pull from many, many different traditions and many different pantheons of deities. And the way that I deal with that is that if I'm looking to work, if I'm working with a specific energy, I am normally called through my sense of intuition and my spirit guides and just my life force energy towards a god or goddess or multiples that represent the energy that I need or am working with or am craving. So I'm not going to get into in this video the specific deities that I consider to be my patron deities, or the ones that I work with on a very regular basis and have been with me for a while. But one of them is Guan Yin, who is, in my opinion, a wonderful, wonderful goddess that is cross-traditional herself. She is seen in many different religious traditions. And to me, Guan Yin is a very loving, compassionate, motherly presence. And that was something that I was lacking in my spiritual life. And when I realized that I had this void that I needed to be filled of a loving, this just intense love, goodness source, I kind of went two ways. I researched different gods and goddesses that represented this that traditionally represented this. And I used my intuition and felt my way through the darkness to where I was going, and I came up with Guan Yin. And I work specifically with her for this energy, and she is with me all the time, and I do devotionals to her. But I believe that she is one facet, one side of a coin, of an infinitely sided coin, one facet of a diamond, as I like to think of it, because this is divine and sacred energy. So she is one facet of this divine energy that is represented in a bigger form as goddess, that is represented in its totality as totem. And I think the simplest explanation of why this works so well for me is that I think that totem is such an incredibly huge force and energy that it's almost impossible for me personally to be able to work with it as is, because it's everything, in my opinion. It's negative and positive and everything in between. And so sometimes I do try and connect with this source totem on the whole, and I have amazing experiences with that. But I find it to be, for my practice, very beneficial when I break it up into subsets and get it smaller and smaller until I'm dealing with exactly the kind of energy that I'm looking to deal with. And that energy to me is represented by the different deities that I'm working with. So that is my explanation of how I view the divine energy, the source. And I hope it makes sense. I know it can be a little confusing just because there's a lot of different things going on. But I would love to hear people's opinions. So if you have any questions, if something isn't clear, please comment. If you have any comments, if you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear it all. Please, by all means, send me a comment, send me a message, send me a video response even. That would be really cool. And I just want to take the time to say thank you so much to everybody that has already subscribed and has watched my first video. I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in what I'm saying, if this resonates with you, please subscribe. I'll be making lots of videos that are along the same lines, and I'm really excited about this. So thank you for watching this today. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. It's beautiful where I am. That's why the lighting's a little better in this video, because it's during the day. And I hope it's beautiful for everyone, and I'm sending out positive energy to all of you watching. So blessed be, and namaste.